right, come on in, guys. Hello there, Freedom Now. Type in Freedom Now. We're going to have a wonderful time together tonight. Hi there, Instagram, TikTok. Hello, hello, McBean Immigration TV and Facebook. Hello, hello. As you join tonight's live session, friends, say hello. Say hello, hello, and Freedom Now. We're going to have a wonderful time together this evening. Yesterday was the Monday Q&A and Immigration News Update show. And tonight, we're going to just continue the good times. We're going to continue talking about pathways to a lawful status in the United States. Let's focus on what is good, what is pure, what is just. Don't get me started, but let's focus on what is really good tonight and not the negative stuff, okay? There is still a way for many people to become lawful in the United States. There is a way for many people to still become U.S. citizens. There is a way for many people to get a green card if they choose this. If this is what they choose, okay? Someone has started us off with great news today. Trevor says, I got my letter of adjustment of status approved today. Congratulations. Yay. Let's start it off, guys, with some good news. If you've also gotten some sort of breakthrough, you've been approved for your green card, your citizenship, your work permit, let me know, okay? Hey there, Vivette. Good to see you tonight. Savio, thank you. Good to see you as well. Hey there, Erwin. Thank you so much. And if you're joining live on Facebook, be sure to share this live session with your feed. Hey there, daughter of Zion. Good to see you. Thank you, Freedom Now, to the McBean Immigration TV community, family. Hey there, Efren. Thank you so much for being here. Guys, at McBean Law, as I always say, we're here for you. Contact us at 914-898-9488 for a one-on-one discussion with us. We meet with clients virtually and then also over the telephone and certainly in person, okay? Freedom Now, Freedom Now. So reach out to us. Our office hours for booking consultations, the office hours are Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern, and Saturday and Sundays from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. You can reach us during those times. Hello, hello, Gomez. Good to see you. California is in the house. Guys, let me know where you're joining from tonight. And if you're joining on TikTok, double tap the screen. Thank you so much. Double tap, double tap, double tap. We're going to talk about ways that you can become lawful in the United States. Don't be discouraged by what you're seeing because the immigration system still works. And we're working in it every day despite the pushback, despite the many changes, despite the negativity that we're seeing. We're still working in this system every single day, fighting for our clients' rights to be here and to stay here. And I have a little setup problem here. But anyway, that will be fixed. Okay, guys, type in Freedom Now. Freedom Now. Yes, I'm in my dining room because this is where I feel the most comfortable tonight. I came home from work tonight and I made some chicken soup. I haven't even had it yet because I had to come live at 8 o'clock. I didn't time this properly. So other people are enjoying it right now. But I made some chicken soup. Do whatever. Guys, you've got to, during a time like this, you've got to do what feels good to you and what rejuvenates you. And don't ignore yourself, okay? So rejuvenate, cook, do what, have a hobby. Pull away from all of this from time to time and get back on the grind, okay? All right, let's go, guys. Let's go with some questions tonight. Gomez starts us off with a question about his I-130 for his wife. He filed it in September of 2024. There is no approval yet. It was sent to Vermont. The I-130 has slowed down. I am seeing more of that. I am starting to see a lot more cases involving people who filed last year who are still waiting even on this I-130 approval process. For some people, you should consider doing an expedite request if the visa is available to you, if you're a U.S. citizen, and the case is pending for a good while, outside of their processing times. Technically speaking, that's when you really should consider other options, other options that are stronger, such as a mandamus, filing that complaint to force them to make the next move in your case. That's what's required for some people. For others, they could seek an expedite request. If you have some sort of humanitarian need, there's some hardships going on there, contact a lawyer to talk about whether you can do an expedite request for your spouse or whether you're at the stage where you need to do the mandamus, okay? Thank you, guys. Someone says here that, what is your recommendation if I have an I-94? Do I do a marriage-based green card or VAWA? So there's a problem with that question, right? There is a real problem with that question. If you're in a good relationship, a non-abusive relationship with your spouse should file for you and do the marriage-based green card case. If you're in an abusive environment and your spouse is refusing to file for you, certainly VAWA would be the best way to go. Come on in, friends. It's good to see you on this Tuesday night. We just started answering questions. Thank you so much for joining me. If you guys have not started following me on social media, do so because we send out very important updates each day. Today I shared an update with social media, and we're going to get it out to YouTube as well, involving the expansion of biometrics collections, guys. They're getting really serious with this. If you have not seen that video that I published today on social media, jump on Instagram, jump on Facebook, jump on TikTok and watch that video, because there's a rule that the government has proposed that would allow for DNA collection in more cases. It would expand the number of people that the government collects data from by 1 million people. They will be collecting data from 1 million more, okay? Up to 3 million people. They are expected to expand their ability to collect data on the petitioners, on the beneficiaries, of course, on your sponsors, your I-864 joint sponsors, anyone involved in your case. And they said at this time, not the immigration lawyers, not your lawyer, and not your accredited representative at this time. This is very alarming, guys, on so many levels. So watch that little update about this expansion of power and data collection and the privacy concerns that we all should have, because this is going to be huge database of information that this government is looking to collect on anyone involved or anywhere near an immigration process, including U.S. citizens, green card holders, and others, and your sponsors. Good luck finding a sponsor who will say yes to you if your income is not enough to sponsor your relative. Yes to you, knowing that they're going to have to go in and do fingerprint, eye scan, maybe DNA, I don't know. It's crazy. Watch that video, guys. Watch that video. There are 128 questions during the on the new naturalization test, so to speak. The information is on USCIS's website on how to prepare for that test and see all of the new questions. It is no longer 100 questions, but if you had filed your application in June, as Emmanuel says here, you will be taking the old test, which is 100 questions. Okay, so you don't have to worry about the additional questions. Indiana is in the house. You can pay that $100 asylum fee. The government is sending out notices telling people that they have an obligation to pay that annual fee. Hey there, Georgia. Good to see you. Thank you so much. Hawaii is in the house. Flor de Liza is here. Thank you for being here from Hawaii. Okay. Jean is asking, can someone file for a work permit if the I-130 is approved? You could do a work permit application if you have another application like adjustment of status application, the I-45 that is filed, but not, it's not, the work permit is not connected to an I-130 petition. Thank you. Thank you. I had an I-601A approved and my counselor interview is already scheduled. Okay, so this person has a 601A approved and now he has an interview schedule as well. Should I withdraw my affirmative asylum before I go for my interview or when I come back? So you're going to need, Wernick, you should definitely speak with your attorney if you have one, because you applied for asylum, which you're basically saying that you can't go back there. So there's a way of changing your embassy, and that's what you're going to need to do at this stage. Type in freedom now, guys. Freedom now. Let's see. My wife is a green card holder. She applied for me in 2024, October. We just received something or another. It's how much time is it going to take? That process is moving again for the F2A applicants, those who are in this category. It's moving. It's hard to say because before, what I know to be true is that some people have been waiting 2 or 3 years already in this category. And although the visa bulletin has advanced in that category, some people have not really seen any movement yet in that category. So for some people, they should absolutely consider the mandamus to force the next move in their case in that F2A category. I would get that aggressive because there's really no reason why some people should be waiting so long in this F2A category, 2-3 years now. And the visa is available. The government needs to process these cases. So I'm not certain how long it's going to take you who filed in October of 2024 on this F2A, in that F2A category. F2A is the second preference family category. Thank you guys for joining tonight. Thank you for your good questions. Let's see. My mom has a deportation order. She has recently become a widow. She has check-ins with ICE every year. Will she get detained? There's a possibility that she will be detained. We checked in with a client, I think it was yesterday, I was told, yesterday in Manhattan. It's a very scary situation. And my colleague who went with our client for his check-in yesterday said that they were detaining people in Manhattan at their check-in with ICE. And we also know that it's happening across the country as well. They are detaining people. And then for some others, they do not detain. Thank God they did not detain our client yesterday, but your mother has a deportation order. ICE could very well make that very push to detain her. You should certainly reach out to an attorney to talk about, well, what should she do, or what should we do in the event that my mother is detained at her check-in? And then also, Christy, what if they call her in early? Because for some people, they're calling them in early for their check-in. And these guys checking in with ICE happens for people who have this removal, who has a removal order, and they're placed on an order of supervision, okay? They're placed under an order of supervision, which requires them to check in with ICE. ICE has made the decision not to aggressively deport that individual, for various reasons. They get to stay here for some people We had a client who was under this order of supervision for 25 years. So it just depends on the circumstance. If a country will not issue a travel document like a passport to you, it was harder for ICE to deport you, or for various humanitarian reasons, ICE makes the decision not to deport and just place people under this supervision. But now they have a mandate of 3,000 arrests per day, and they're being very aggressive with those who are under supervision. So if you're under supervision, definitely lawyer up in the event you get called in earlier than expected. All right. Thank you guys. Freedom Now Munda. Let's see. Freedom Now. Let's see. Married a U.S. citizen in 2015. He passed away in 2018. Got my green card. 2022. Applied for N400. It was denied. What can I do? Have an appointment one-on-one so that we could look at that denial letter and talk about things. It looks like you did a widow filing, right, to get that green card. I'm assuming that's the process that you went through to get the green card. I want to know why the government denied you for naturalization. Let's keep going. And I'm not going to do the math and count the years and do all of that. I'm not going on that level tonight. What's the cost for fees for an expedite request? I don't discuss fees during this during the live session. Do we handle divorces? No, we do not. Freedom Now, okay, good to see you. Thank you. Let's go back here. Guys, tonight we're talking about pathways to lawful status in the United States. We're staying optimistic and positive in this during this difficult time. So if you have a question, okay, I'm happy to answer it. My waiver I-601A was approved. Is it safe to go home to my home country for an interview? Malia is asking. For you, it might very well be safe. You should certainly have a background check done on you by an immigration lawyer who will know what to look for and what issues the U.S. Embassy will be most concerned about before you leave the United States. But we wish you well. And if you need help with the consular process, reach out to us. We'd be happy to work with you on that and to make sure you're good to go and to hold your hand all the way until the end. Freedom now, guys. Freedom now. If you're new to me, welcome. I'm LaToya McBean Pompy, an immigration lawyer in New York, working with clients nationwide at McBean Law. USCIS will look at all of your immigration records, someone says here. There, hello, go down a little bit here. Thank you. I've answered that one already. Let's see, for green card holders, they go back 5 years. Do they go back to home country as well? If you have a criminal history in your home country. So if you have a criminal history and let's say you're trying to do naturalization, the government will want to know about anywhere in the world. Anywhere in the world, okay? And when you have a consultation with me, my question to you is, have you ever been arrested anywhere in the world? Because anywhere in the world is the standard. That's what matters to immigration. Yes, people do get away with hiding some things that happened in their home country. They get away with it for a certain period of time. But if they mess up and apply for citizenship, it's quite possible that it will be found or discovered during that particular process. Hello there. My wife's green card expired 3 years ago. Can your firm help us to do the process to renew her green card? And what would be the cost? Yes, we do the process, the I-90 process. It's usually very straightforward, but I know under these times and conditions, some people are afraid to do it on their own. certainly reach out to us and we'll take a look at her background and weigh things for her and help her to understand whether she has anything to be concerned about. She probably doesn't. The cost is something that we'll discuss with you when we meet one-on-one with you. Let's see. How could I bring my husband here? He's in Chile. You could start an I-130 process for him, okay? That's what you're gonna need to start. He's from Pakistan, living in Chile. Okay, file that I-130, get him in line, get him going. Let's see, I have a denied N336. What is the next step, please? We would want to find out why they denied your naturalization application to begin with. You then did this appeal process, and unfortunately it did not work out. So for us, we will want to go back to the very beginning and look at everything that has occurred on your record. What happens next in this context depends on the government. Hopefully they'll just leave it alone and not trouble you until you figure out how to get back on track and submit a stronger case if you're eligible for naturalization, if a lawyer clears you for that. Otherwise, they might issue a notice to appear in immigration court. That's what I'm seeing these days for some people with a denied case. Someone says, I tried to call your office at 6:09 p.m. my time. Mia says, so Mia, after a certain hour, I think it's after 6 o'clock or 6:30, I forget, we go down to one person on the phone, okay? That's my dog, my old sweet dog with his issues. So that's what you're hearing in the background. So yeah, call us again, or you could fill out the form, Mia, on, or Maya, I'm not sure. You could fill out the form on our website. Go to mcbeanlaw.com/contact, fill out our form, and someone will give you a call back to schedule a consultation with you. Thank you for calling our office. Thank you. Someone said, my marriage-based green card interview is coming up. It is scheduled within 6 months of filing, and my EAD is still pending. I'm just concerned that this is a trap. Not necessarily. I don't think it's a trap. This is truly what's happening for some people. The government is immediately calling folks in after they filed the I-485, I-130 packet in a marriage case. So for you, it might very well be a good thing. And just focus on doing well at that interview. That's where you're gonna, it happens for a lot of people, okay? So focus on what's on your application, know your history very well. Do a prep with an attorney. You're not practicing, you're not being coached or anything like that. It's called preparation, and it's called the right and smart thing to do. Because if you bring any husband and wife together and you start asking them random questions about how they met and the details of their wedding, of course it's possible for those in a genuine marriage to have a foggy memory. So you want to really go over some things and get on the same page. What if your spouse is incarcerated? If your spouse is incarcerated, your case will need to be administratively closed until your spouse is released. Let's go down here. It normally takes a little bit under a year to bring someone to the United States, to bring a minor to the United States. But of course, it depends on your country. Where that child will be going through, being processed through the embassy. Okay, freedom now, guys. It's almost Thanksgiving. It is almost Thanksgiving. Can you believe that? We have a lot to be thankful for. We all have a lot to be thankful for. Let's see. Is one at risk of being deported if they enter the United States legally but have pending asylum in immigration court? Is a person at risk of being deported if you entered legally and you have a pending asylum? Well, how strong is your asylum case? Focus on that, making sure that you have a good, strong asylum case. Guys, I do have an update up about the U visa. That's actually what I was thinking about when I was reading your question. I was multitasking. U visa, not a good update, okay? I had planned on doing a video about it, but I didn't have the time today. Not a good update for U visa applicants. The U visa is the visa for crime victims of crime who cooperated with law enforcement, and it has to be a certain kind of crime. Not every crime qualifies for this process, and it leads to lawful status, and ultimately it does lead to a green card. However, this government of ours have they sent out an update this week indicating that if you enter the United States illegally, okay, without inspection, and you have a U visa case pending, well, you won't be able to adjust your status, okay? I don't have the notice here in front of me. I might very well do a video so that more people can hear this news, and I could talk about it a little bit deeper in that video. But just know that if you have a U visa case pending with USCIS, it takes several years for them to make a decision about U visa applicants. But what the government is doing now is they're blocking your ability to apply for adjustment of status if you enter the United States illegally. So that's really awful news. I'll share more at another time, but that's the U visa update for today. Okay, let's see. Planning to apply for citizenship, but I recently got a ticket for selling alcohol to a minor at work. I paid the fine. I'm currently on probation. So is it the right time for me to apply for citizenship? No, you want to get off probation. Get off probation first, okay? Never pursue an immigration process if you have a pending criminal matter. Hey there, good to see you. Ritamar, thank you so much. There's Justice Barkin. Let's see, is there an update on the T visa? No, I do not have any updates on the T visa. How likely is it to get a bona fide determination work permit for T visa applicants? If you have a good, credible case, it's possible that they will do that. We just got our bona fide determination for one of our T visa applicants. We filed her case in December of last year, just at the end of December 2024. And just last week, we got her EAD, although we knew about the approval from a few weeks ago, but USCIS really did take a while to send the EAD. We finally received it, and she now has it. So that's great news for her. But you have to give them something to say, wait a minute, this looks like it could be a credible case here. And so you're going to need some really good evidence with that T visa. All right. I wish you well on that. Keep us posted, please. Let's see. Freedom now, guys. Type in freedom now. Is a tourist visa that was granted with a waiver in jeopardy? What do you mean in jeopardy? I'm not sure what you mean by that. And, what this person is speaking about, though, is that for some people who have a problem on their record and they're facing the U.S. Embassy, they know that they have, maybe it's an inadmissibility problem, which means that they would not be able to get that visa approved because of this problem. But there is a waiver that is filed. It's called a non-immigrant waiver, okay? And that waiver is submitted, I should say, not filed, but submitted to the embassy for their consideration. And if it's approved, the embassy will temporarily set aside the problem that's on that person's record, that inadmissibility issue, and set that aside to allow that person to get that visa. This is annoying. To get that visa. Get the visa and come to the United States. So now this person says, well, that's how I got my visa to come to America, because I have this problem. but the waiver helped me and I got my visa. Now, if this person overstayed in the United States and now is trying to get a green card, that issue will come up again. Okay, that issue will certainly come up again. And that waiver that that person had gotten with the visa is not enough to get them a green card, because you'll need a different kind of waiver if you're eligible for that other kind, the 601 waiver, to ultimately get through. Okay. So let me know, reach out to us if you really do have an immigration process that you're thinking about filing. If you're in that circumstance with that waiver that you, the visa with the waiver, I'd like to know more about that. Okay, Freedom Now, good to see you guys. What was I thinking about Thanksgiving? Because every now and then I got a glimpse of this tablecloth that we've had on the table for months, even during summer. And I said, wow, this really works even for Thanksgiving and Christmas. It has that look, right? It has that look, right? Like this could really work for Thanksgiving and Christmas, don't you think? I'm just showing this to Instagram here. So that's why I was thinking Thanksgiving, because I said, oh, it's almost that time. It'll be here before you know it. Is the conditional green card safe to travel internationally with? Yes, it is. But do not travel on that 2-year green card if your marriage is not solid to the U.S. citizen. Ooh, someone here says, George says, the police caught me, DUI, in 2014. I took a test, I showed my ID, but they let me go without any charges. I admitted to it, I wasn't, but no arrests. Is this still a subject for deportation? I don't think so. I think that you'll be fine, but I would want to know, what is your status today? Are you a green card holder? What's your story? I'd like to know a little bit more. I think, but you're okay, safe, so to speak. But it depends on what you're going to be doing. At this time, are you seeking naturalization, or, it's not just a ground to go after you to deport you, right? But here's how they can do it. Let's say you have this DUI like George, and it's like no big deal, nothing strong. Okay, so, but he's here without papers, right? He's here without status. And so, of course, if ICE detains him, he will be placed in removal proceedings. Why? Not because of that DUI, but because of the fact that he's here present without any lawful status. That alone is enough to deport someone. So that's why I also sent out a video today that said, be careful, don't get into trouble, particularly if you have a removal order. But if you don't have a removal order and you're here without status, avoid getting into the back of a police car. Just avoid it, because more and more counties across the United States are cooperating with ICE, and they're immediately sharing information. They have strong incentives under this administration to share that information with ICE, and they're doing it, guys, and they're doing it fast. So just keep that part in mind, okay? Even if you're released, you go in to a police department, they book you, and you go through some little procedures here and there, and then they release you, and you think, okay, I'm all good. Some people like that, like the scenario that I'm sharing now, they then end up getting a notice from ICE if they're if they have a removal order. They hear from the government, okay, and it's not a good letter to get or phone call. So be careful, guys, please. Yes, some things have slowed down. How long does VAWA interview or without interview? I receive a green card. Munda, I don't understand what that means. Please reframe that. They approved my I-130. Do you think my 45 will be approved soon? David is asking. Hopefully it will be. It depends on it depends on whether you have any inadmissibility issues that they want to explore or not. Let's see. Okay, if I have a green card, I want to apply for my husband, but I'm from a travel ban country. Yeah, it's going to be hard to bring that person in. There might be a humanitarian argument that could be made. It's very difficult, though. A national interest argument won't work in that context, but you might very well be able to make a humanitarian argument. You could reach out to us so that we could dig a little deeper there. To my knowledge, I haven't seen any updates yet, guys, about the travel ban countries. I haven't seen any major changes with regard to them, lifting the ban. Okay. Oh, and Justice broke through the barrier. He broke through the barrier. I'll show it to TikTok this time. Do you guys see? Let's see. If I could. He broke through the barrier. Yep, he got through. I was trying to fortify things and it didn't work. He broke through. He figured out how to get closer to me. Oh boy. So you might hear some snoring in a few minutes. It usually takes missionary under a year to bring a child to the United States, U.S. citizen parent. However, it depends on what your embassy is. You can certainly go to Google and type in the IV scheduling tool, immigrant visa scheduling tool. It'll take you to the State Department's website, and you put in what embassy your child will be processing through, and it'll give you some data as far as what the government is, the types of, the cases that have been documentarily qualified by the Visa Center that are now ready for an interview. That's how you would really know. But normally it does take under a year for most people to bring their children to the United States. Let's see. Is it common for parents to be called in for an interview? My daughter petitioned for us. In 2 weeks, my other friend never went and got their 10-year. It's not entirely common for them to call a parent in, but it happens. It happens. You might have a history there that they want to question. So it happens, not that frequently in these types of cases, but just be prepared for that interview. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, Michelle says, with her smart self, Michelle says, my husband has a security clearance. Every person he writes down as family or foreign acquaintances on that form, the government is going to collect data from all of them. This is nothing new. I love it when people say things like, this is nothing new. They feel so good about it. They feel in control, like, oh, I have power. I know what I'm talking about. In this case, Michelle, you actually don't really know what you're talking about within the context of this Federal Register notice that came out that said that the government will be collecting and expanding the type of data that they're collecting from everyone involved in the immigration process, except for attorneys. They haven't figured out that part yet, how to handle that, except for attorneys and accredited representatives. So they're talking about DNA sample, they're talking about eye scan, they're talking about very intrusive data on individuals that they're going to be conducting and keeping. My question is, for what reason, and what are they going to do with all of that data on all of these, about 3 million people? That's what the Federal Register said. It's going to go from collecting 2 million people to 3 point whatever million people. So this is huge. It's really big. And I don't even know, are they going to be collecting biometrics also from employer petitioners? Because the notice did say petitioners. So it's a very bad thing. Okay. All right, let's keep going. All right, Elizabeth says, thank you for your gifts. Last week, I got a notice that my I-485 is being actively reviewed. The online account now says step 4 decision. Do you think my iwi is a problem, or why is it taking so long? So, iwi, you entered without inspection. That could be a big problem, but are you trying to be grandfathered in? Did you have to pay $1,000 and fill out that supplemental form? Did you go through that process, the penalty of $1,000? Because if that's the case, you can adjust your status if you meet that requirement for that amnesty. Otherwise, if you entered without inspection, you iwi'd, well, that is a problem for adjustment of status, okay? And for those of you who are joining on YouTube and Facebook, you kind of see the setup here on the side of my other, my cell phones here. Let's see. I got my citizenship through asylum. Is it safe to go back to my home country now to see my family after 13 years? I really can't answer that one right here in this session. Okay. Yes, I'm going to be cryptic about things I think I should use discretion with. Okay, let's go down. Okay. Let's see. Can I submit an adjustment of status for my 79-year-old father who came to the United States with a tourist visa? Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Okay, when I applied for the I-45, I forgot to include 2 traffic speeding tickets in the form. I submitted my N400 recently. I included those tickets. Could that be a problem? I don't think they're going to make that to be a very big problem, okay? That's something that you could easily rectify with them. How much is the consultation fee? It starts at $300 at our office. Thank you for being here tonight. We're talking about pathways to lawful status in the United States. We're talking about solutions tonight, answering your questions, and just staying positive tonight. Someone says, yeah, with asylum, you've got to be careful because you're supposed to be, someone says you're supposed to have a fear for your life of returning to your home country. So when you think about traveling back to your country, your country of birth, you've got to really be careful. Hey there, Shanette, good to see you guys. Let's see, I'm coming to the United States on a tourist visa. Barrington, you must be Jamaican. Barrington says, what do I need to change to have a work visa or work permit? So, Barrington, you come here on your tourist visa. In order to change your status, you're going to obviously need an employer to start that process for you. So that's the big push right there. An employer has to start a process for you. It could even be an H2B visa. It could be, temporary non-immigrant visa that an employer starts for you. But it's a little tricky when you're here and they start that process for you while you're here. You really want to pay attention to your tourist visa and not break the rules of that visa by working here illegally, and also not overstaying, because then it allows you to have more leverage when that employer do file that work visa for you. But you won't be able to just transition, come here with a tourist visa and go straight into a work permit. There's no process for that. Okay. H-2B. Does the I-130 takes longer to process if you're outside of the United States? If so, what is the average wait time? It depends on who petitioned for you. That's what it will always come down to, whether you're here in the U.S. or out of the United States. Who is the petitioner for you? And if you're going to do it outside of the United States, one piece of the timeline that you've got to add in there is how long is it going to take you to get through that visa center process and be interviewed at the U.S. Embassy. That's the other part that makes this answering this question like it's a straightforward black and white issue, complicated. I've been here for 5 years, never left, been a good citizen. Okay. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Contact us. You can reach us. I have a consultation with you guys tomorrow. Hopefully it goes well. Yes, hopefully it does go well. I see this individual is praying. Thank you for booking your consultation with us. We're looking forward to meeting with you. My court case was supposed to be tomorrow, but it was scheduled for 2027. You guys heard that. Can they forward it back? Okay, so that's going to be hard to do. It's hard to control the docket from the where you're sitting from your side of things. They are making a lot of these changes. Things are changing. There's a lot of changes happening, I should say, because as you guys see, they've fired so many immigration judges. They're bringing in new judges. They're really trying to change the system from the inside out. And so it's impacting the docket. And you were ready to go. You're eager. You wanted to move your case forward. And then they just scheduled it to 2027. Something's wrong there. Something is really wrong there. And I would want to know, you could have your lawyer contact the clerk of the judge and to find out whether you can get an earlier hearing date. There has to be some sort of explanation for why they just put you to 2027, unless your case, unless you were supposed to have a master calendar hearing. The court had asked for written pleadings. They were submitted. The court issued a schedule of what's to come next, and the court went ahead and scheduled your final hearing, and that final hearing is in 2027, the individual hearing. So it could very well have been that. Because sometimes it's not necessary to go through that master calendar. If you had submitted your written pleadings, it's just not necessary. So the court would just cancel that hearing and then give you your new hearing date of down there, a distant future. Okay, so I think that's what possibly happened to you there. Okay, freedom now, guys. Freedom now. All right, super chat. My first super chat question is from Gene, and he says, I was charged with assault and battery. I was found not guilty, and my case was sealed. I have the sealed certificate from the court. Can I still apply for citizenship, or should I wait 5 years? I think that it's I think you should speak with us privately about this, because you said that you were found not guilty, Your case went all the way up to, you went to trial. I would still be a little cautious because of this administration. The fact that your case was sealed doesn't really make that any difference whatsoever to immigration. I like that you were found not guilty, though. That's actually a very strong, a good thing. But I would want to see if there's anything else. Is there anything else on your record that that we would need to consider? And then, yeah, so get a consultation. I can't tell you, Jean, in this form whether you should go for citizenship or not, but you do have some good things going for you there in that you were found not guilty. All right. So let's have that one-on-one. And I'd really, want to come to the consultation with a certificate of disposition. I would want to see for myself, not that I don't believe you, but I would want to see for myself what happened there. Okay. Who are those who are supervised, who are in the category of being supervised by ICE? So people who officially received various paperwork from ICE. It'll have their photo on it and their fingerprint, and they check in with ICE, and ICE signs, an agent usually signed that form to indicate that you complied with your check-in. It's a very formal process, and if you're part of this process, you would really know it. And it's there's a final order of removal that was issued against these individuals. Okay. Let's see. Can a sibling file for another sibling who was given withholding of removal since 2016? Leah's asking. Leah, it's not going to be that process most likely will not work. The withholding of removal case will need to be reopened and terminated. It's just that process isn't a great one, because if you're here in the United States, if you were accruing unlawful presence for years prior to the court deciding to grant you this withholding of removal, you won't be able to adjust your status through your sibling. That's just unfortunately not going to work. Guys, you have gotten so much smarter over the years with immigration. I really see the depth of your growth over the years. The questions that I'm getting today are so much more complex than questions that I had gotten 5 years ago, 7 years ago, 9 years ago. There's a lot of information that you're collecting and receiving, and I know sometimes it doesn't really it doesn't always click, but some of you are doing really, 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 really good right now. Is it better to have a lawyer at a USCIS interview? These days, I would say yes. Yes, it is. It really is a good idea. And I never always thought that. Okay. Thank you for gifts on TikTok. Double tap the screen. If you have not started following me yet on TikTok, hit that follow button. Someone says, I accidentally submitted a form saying that I'm a U.S. citizen. I'm sorry, that's a very serious issue, but we could talk about that one-on-one if you'd like. Let's see. Your interview was canceled, adjustment of status. They might have decided to waive your interview. They are still waiving some interviews, guys. They are still waiving some interviews. Let's see. Let's go down a little bit. Let's see, my I-36. Oh, I've answered a question from you already tonight. Someone says, I'm 5 months into my 2-year conditional green card and experiencing all levels of disrespect and emotional abuse. Evidence of common are been destroyed. Okay. I'm now asking to find way out of this house. We live in together. What can I do? Okay, so you can still pursue a 10-year green card on your own. You don't have to be trapped in a situation that is unbearable for you, okay? So you could certainly, you're only 5 months into it, so you're not anywhere near the point of having to submit the I-751 removal of conditions. Continue to collect your evidence. Hopefully things will get better. You guys can seek marriage counseling if your partner believes in that. Some people don't, okay? But if your partner is open to that, make good faith efforts to keep things going and together in a loving way. But if it's not going to work out for you, just know that you can pursue this on your own by either arguing that it was a good faith marriage, but it ended in divorce. It was a good faith marriage, or it ended in this based on extreme cruelty and abuse that I've suffered in the marriage. Or you suffered extreme hardships during the 2 years that you had this status. Be very careful with this removal of conditions process, guys, because it could tie people up. It could tie you up for 10 years or longer, okay? I've seen it. I see it all the time with removal of conditions. So handle it delicately. We'd be happy to work on that case for you when the time comes. It's too early for that now. Too early to call us. Contact us next year, okay? Next year. All right. Freedom now, guys. Freedom now. Okay. Do I need to have a good credit history? Gabrielle is asking. No. No. Although I'm not certain what process you're talking about. Okay, I keep getting this question about asylum, traveling back home. Is it safe? And I've said it a number of times. I don't think that's such a wise idea, and I'm not going to talk about it within the context of you now being a U.S. citizen. I'm not going to touch that in this forum. I just got married to my husband. Can I file for adjustment of status immediately? You can if you have evidence of cohabitation, evidence of bringing your resources together, evidence of a relationship that matured over time. Yes, you can. Double tap the screen, guys, on TikTok. Thank you so much. I'm answering some immigration questions tonight. We're going to be wrapping up momentarily. Okay, let's see. Can I file for my husband? He's overstayed his visa. I'm a green card holder. You can start the process for him within I-130. Once you become a U.S. citizen, he could seek adjustment of status. I have been married to my husband for over 32 years. I immigrated. My husband since is now a U.S. citizen. He has a DUI record before I met him. Need clean slate for him. What's your question? I'm not sure what you're asking there. If I have multiple jobs in the U.S., does that affect USCIS interview? Multiple jobs in the United States, you know how we do it sometimes as West Indian folks. I don't know. We work, we have many things that we do. It's a common thing. So if I don't think that could be a problem. The way I could see it, however, being a problem is if if one of those jobs is in another state, then you have to really be delicate about how you approach your case, because you have to prove that you're in a genuine marriage. Okay. All right. Great questions tonight, guys. Great questions. Great questions. Freedom now. Freedom now. Is a visa overstay forgiven when you marry a U.S. citizen? Well, the government looks the other way. They're not going to penalize you for overstaying your visa. I moved recently and I misplaced my green card. Will it be a problem if I apply for a replacement? No, just go ahead and get that replacement green card. File that I-90, okay? Does VAWA work for men? Yes, and we've worked on a lot of VAWA male cases, okay? It does work because, man, there are some women out there that, whew, I don't know who's worse. I'm telling you guys, I've seen some facts involving some abusive women. All right. So the men, you do not have to sit there with an abusive woman. It's a very dangerous situation. You guys know that to be true. And some of the men are like, that is so true. Hell has no wrath. Is that how it? Man, when a woman get angry, whoo, they do some things. How can I reach out to you? Certainly, you can call us at 914. When our office opens tomorrow, you can call us at 914-898-9488, or you can go on our website now. Okay, now, and put in your requests. And tomorrow morning, someone on our team will call you, okay, to book that appointment. Thank you, guys. Any changes with VAWA? I have not seen any changes with VAWA. Earlier tonight, I talked about a change related to U visa. Bad news related to U visa applicants who entered the United States without inspection. Freedom now, guys. Hey there. Thank you so much for being with me tonight, and my old snoring dog, Justice. Let's see. Someone said that I should wait 3 more years after this administration to apply for citizenship. Okay. That might be a smart thing to do, depending on what that circumstance is that you're faced with. Freedom now, Regina. Good to see you. Thank you for being here tonight. Let's see. Let's go down a little bit here. What would be your top 5 things to prove a marriage is bona fide? You're gonna let me do this tonight? Are you serious? If this was 10 a.m. in the morning, I would just roll off the tip of my tongue. But at 10 o'clock it's 9 o'clock. At 9 o'clock at night, I would say this. You have to go to the heart of your story. And the heart of your story, I think, is that you have that intention, that it's that intent. When you said that I do, that intent was to stay with that person and not to say I do for the green card. So think about what could prove that. What could prove that I'm real about my marriage with my spouse here? How did your journey begin, and how did it mature? Do you have photos that tell that story, that progression? Are you guys living together? All week? All week? Are you guys together for real in the same home? Well, yes. Okay. So do you have a lease? Do you have any bills that are coming to the home in both of your names? Do you have new credit cards that you've taken out together because you have to start your life together, and it's very expensive to start a life together? What are some of the things that you guys have bought during those early days, right? Your furniture, your this, your that, right? Around your apartment or your house. How do you support each other? Is she on your documents, like a life insurance? Is he on your 401k plan, right? Or do you guys have a bank account together? If not, that's fine. Doesn't have to be together, because not everyone bring their money together in that manner. But how do you support each other? There's so many different ways of showing that genuineness, guys. How would you tell your story? If you were to write your story, how would you tell it? to the government? What made you really fall in love with that person, right? There's so much to it. If when it's real, guys, and you don't have to struggle with showing that genuineness. You really don't. Okay, let's see. Let's get this here. Okay, perfect. Thank you, guys. All right. Is it a good time to travel back to my country? I'm planning to travel to my home country on advance parole. Traveling on advance parole should be fine and safe for most people. It is. If you entered without inspection, iwi, there you can't adjust your status unless you're trying to, unless you could do it under 245I, the old amnesty there. Okay, let's see something here. Freedom now, freedom now. Oh, I think I might have lost. Do we? Yes, we handle employment-based immigration. Yes, we do. And guys, if you are concerned also about denaturalization, it is not, I'm starting to take consultations, and I had one today related to denaturalization, which made me think to say this to you, that denaturalization is not actually revved up yet. I'm on track for educating you about what the government is planning on doing. And of course, they need to recruit qualified attorneys, because my understanding is that they just don't have that staff yet. Attorneys, many of the attorneys, this is what I've heard from an attorney who used to be in the Justice Department denaturalization unit. He said to us recently, I think this was a couple of weeks ago, that those people left, right? A lot of those qualified attorneys left. And so finding those qualified people who can do this work is not easy on the attorney side, because these attorneys, of course, will have to be willing in some cases to put their license on the line, and this is a very expensive license to put on the line. So recruiting these types of attorneys who can handle these types of heavy lifting with denaturalization is hard to do. With that being said, it is still a priority for the government, which is why I've been sharing this with you. And my part 3 in my denaturalization series is actually, it's been ready for like 3 weeks now. I've just got to approve it so that they could publish it for you guys. But watch these videos that I'm doing about denaturalization, and if you have concerns about it, you could absolutely have a consultation with me. I'm happy to speak with you about whether you have anything to be worried about with respect to denaturalization. Most people have nothing to worry about. Some people do, and I'm happy to just speak with you in the event that it's going to take a lot of effort for the government to really get this going, okay? But you know, if it's really resting on you heavily, I'm happy to think it through with you, so you could book a consultation for us to talk about that issue. All right, guys, I'm going to jump off now, okay? Thank you so much for being with me tonight. It was a pleasure having this chat with you around my dining table. Guys, reach out to us tomorrow if you'd like, or tonight on our website at mcbeanlaw.com, and put in your form so that you can get a call back from us tomorrow. Thank you so much for being here again, and I will see you guys. I don't have the next date yet. I don't know if I could do it Thursday or Friday, but we will try to give you guys advance notice. We do that on social media. So again, if you're not following me on Instagram or TikTok or Facebook, please do so at McBean Immigration Law, so that you'll be in the loop on things. One last comment. I'm going to respond to what Zena says here. She says, in other words, don't fake a marriage to get your green card. It would be easy to prove then. So, Zena, I agree with you that people should not fake a marriage to get a green card. But the one point that I want to elaborate on here is the last part of what you said here, that it will be easy to prove a genuine marriage if you're in a genuine marriage. I would argue that it is still very difficult to prove a genuine marriage for those who are in a genuine marriage. And we work with people like that all the time in a genuine marriage. The government is very particular about how they want to hear your story and for you to prove that intent is real. It's hard, and they give people a very hard time. And whether it's this administration or previous administration, they do that. It's hard. So, guys, just focus on your case. Get as much information as you can. Stay positive, stay connected, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.